Well, this kind of leads into the next question from Ashley. We're talking about how strong of a bond we all have together, and she wants to know how the culture that is Global Autism Project was created.
Molly, you're the creator. So
No,
I'm not though. That's just it, right?
Thing.
I'm like,
Did you guys notice a shift? I mean, I've only been involved for a couple years. Trang last year. I know, Liz, you've been here a little bit longer.
So it's been co-created for sure, right? So actually, from my perspective, the culture of the organization today is the culture I always dreamed about and really just had no idea how even that's possible and how people even do that. And I'm not gonna say I did it wrong because that's not really, but I definitely had misguided attempts. And then I remember all of a sudden, a couple of years ago, maybe 2 or 3 years ago, I woke up and I realized that, like, wow, like the Global Autism Project is the organization with the culture that, like, I always dreamed we would have, And I think that it takes a minute and it takes a skill set to strike a balance between, like, being walked all over as a leader and being a leader who no one's afraid to tell you you're not feeling well because they believe in preemptive sick days, So it's like, and it's been a learning process for sure. And I think, like, I just, embrace failure, right? Like, I just kept falling on my face, trying to build the culture of the organization. And I think that was part of it too, is that while it has to be intentional and co-created, you also, to an extent, have to, like, let it grow up, And I think the biggest thing in this organization is that this shift, I think, and Cassie and Asia have been here longer, is that we don't step over things. If something happens that feels a little off, or we, don't nail a project in the way that we had hoped to, like, it's a conversation and we figure it out. And I think that has probably been a really big shift. But it's interesting because I feel like in my brain, when I was in my 20s, I created this culture, although this is beyond my wildest dreams. But it's really been co-created and it's really been intentional. And each of you have created what we have right now is really the important thing to get. I mean, you have, right? It's like, it's funny because people say, they're trying to operationalize, like, how to get people to care about each other. Mm-hmm. It's like, just care about each other.
Yeah. I would even say too, a shift for me has been ownership. So, I think, and this is a symptom with a lot of organizations outside of this field and organizations I've worked in, that you go in and they're like, here are our values here, like, you need to adapt yourself to fit it, or you don't. But a big thing for me is, like, these values don't need to be, none of us have to shape ourselves to fit the values that we have, because we own our role here. If something goes wrong, I'm not waiting for Molly to fix it. I'm making sure Molly's aware that something, is maybe not working the way it should. Or and I think all of us are that way. There's something about ownership that I think shifted, typing up values, printing them in beautiful fonts, stamping them to the wall, versus, creating values, questioning the values, being like, when we first started this call today, I was looking at the value communicate openly, and I thought, that's changed with this team. Like, we've got ours now is something along the lines of communicate powerfully or intentionally or authentically, It's like, because we don't step over anything. And that's different than open communication, which is maybe a different version of our work culture 5 years ago was openness, but it wasn't necessarily intentional or powerful or what I think we have now, So I think allowing it to shift based on who's here, allowing it to continuously be co-created based on our team, and, and every member of the team having real ownership. in the work we're doing in this organization. Molly's the founder, but this is my organization too, and I think we all feel that way. Mm-hmm. Thanks for creating it, Molly, but this is my baby too.
We co-parent the Global Autism Project.
Yeah.
I definitely think another way that everything has been created here, I guess more than half the people on this call started through SkillCorps. I did, Liz, I think, Cassie, Rachel. Starting through SkillCorps, you even just the wording on the application, things are just worded in a way that really make you think and dig a little bit deeper, more than you have in a while. The only other times I can think are when I went to a liberal arts university, and they make you take some classes when you're a freshman, more that are like more metacognitive, thinking about your thinking and who are you, and that's really the last time that I've had any of those types of questions posed to me. And then applying for SkillCorps and going through that process, and then being on the trip, there's just all of the leaders are trained before taking a trip out, and so there's just that way of speaking and thinking and acting and being that is embodied within the SkillCorps program. And after I did my trip, then I didn't have time. I thought that I didn't have time to travel. That's a whole thing. That could be a whole nother podcast about time. But I was volunteering as an interviewer from home, and then just getting, to ask questions and talk to more people. And then after that, I was like, I need to go to Leadership Academy. I didn't step into a full-time position here until 2019, but I've been volunteering since 2017. And it's just going through that pipeline, that process of being a SkillCorps member and just seeing the way that everybody interacts with one another, and speaks and, just is, that was really, it kind of just set me up to understand what type of organization I was stepping into. And it's, if you've been, on a SkillCorps trip, you know what I'm talking about. There's just a certain environment or atmosphere that, you've probably never experienced before. And it's stepping into being a staff member. It just carries through in an even more powerful way, and it's day to day. So, people who have gone on SkillCorps trips and they're like, oh, I need my dose of, SkillCorps, I need my global autism fix for the year. We're lucky because we get it every day. It's not like you just have your trip and you have that feeling. We get to come to work every day and feel that.
You've been watching Autism Knows No Borders. If you like this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel. Also, we'd love to hear from you, so let us know what you think in the comments section. Click here to watch this interview in its entirety. You can also find us on your favorite podcast app. Tune in each week for engaging conversations of how people across the globe are inspiring change and building community. Thanks for watching. Take care.